Right, so I'm gonna just head for home. I'd planned to get some of the 2 of the photo points, but when I looked at the time it was going to take very, very long, so I decided I'll just cut home, because to be honest with you, excuse me, I've been on the road almost every day for over a week, and I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted, and all my gear needs to be washed and everything, so I'm going to make a break for home. I'm not going to take the motorway. I'll just stick to the back roads and get in, get all the gear washed and ready and all to get going again, and then we'll go on to the next leg of it in a couple of days. Alright, so that's me home, folks. I just blew across the country, and the weather picked up a little bit there towards the end. But yeah, so I'll get all my gear washed, get the bike Ellie washed, have a bit of a rest, get my vaccine shot done, get all the gear ready, maybe lose a few of the stuff I had packed, because I brought way too much stuff as usual, and we'll be back in the road. Continuing on that route. In the next couple of days, but as I said, for you guys it'll be like that. And as if by magic, we're back here. There's the Galmont Hotel, and to you guys it's been instant, but to me it's been 4 days. 4 days since I had to bug out of the route, because I got my my notification for excuse me while I'm trying to do 3 things at once here. My notification for getting my second vaccine shot. So let me just get settled here and I'll fill you in on what's happening. So we're heading out towards, so this is the Spiddal road, out towards Spiddal, and then that'll loop us out into essentially, you know, Connemara, out by the 12 bends and stuff like that. Absolutely epic part of the country. And we're going to finish in Delphi Resort tonight. Absolutely beautiful. Now, we've been here before. What is going on with this traffic? Cyclists. But there's no harm in going again. That's the problem about Ireland. It's a beautiful country, but it's very small, so there's bound to be some repetition. So yeah, all clothes, bike, gear, everything re-washed, reset, everything recharged and updated. Vaccine done. And then I had to take a bit of a break as well, because after driving some dodgy dirt trails and everything, and doing something that's relatively dangerous, certainly more dangerous than, I don't know, golfing or something, you know, but I ended up falling down the stairs, yeah. So I having an old sleep, and the doorbell rings. It's obviously the postman delivering something, and I had to jump up and try and get me shirt and trousers on and get down to the door before they pissed off. Half asleep, running down the stairs, and I just missed the last step, and it launched me forward. And of course I put my arm up to stop myself, and whacked it off the wall, smashed up my legs on the floor. and my head nearly went through the window at the side of the door. Jesus, I thought I could have sworn I'd broken my arm. I thought I was done for. But no, I'm all good. Just badly bruised, but I just rested up then for a day or two, and I'm just a bit sore now, so we're all good. So yeah, an eventful few days, a lot done. And then I had to get up early this morning, and I just burned across the country, across the motorway, the M6 I think. And it's just a crazy road. It's just at least three lunatics. Just, I'll tell you about one in particular. To be honest with you, he got me worried there for a minute. But yeah, so as you know, I've got Denali D4s on the front, and I bought them to increase the visibility of the bike, primarily because most of my driving's daytime driving, and if in the event if I was caught out on a back road somewhere in the dark, that I had something that I could have increased visibility, but primarily to increase my visibility to other traffic. But what I am finding is that they're highly irritating car drivers, highly irritating them. Now they have a level setting. You can go from 0, which is off, to 10, which is brighter than the sun, and I currently have them set to level 1, so they're literally at their lowest intensity, which is pretty much on par with the auxiliary lights on the front of the motorbike. But the amount of people flashing me and everything, and that's fine, I don't mind somebody flashing me if it's annoying them. I understand it might annoy them, but I'd rather annoy them than them not see me, and I'd be dead, you know. And non-motorbikers won't understand this. They won't believe it, but cars just don't see us or ignore us, and they pull out in front of us. And so anything to increase our visibility. Okay, it might annoy you for a second, but I'd rather you be annoyed than me be dead, to be honest. And it's bright as day, you know, it's at its lowest setting. It's not as if I can blind you out of it in daylight with light. So, you know, but I can understand somebody maybe flashing me, you know, fine. But I came up behind this guy in the motorway. He was in the slow lane. I indicated moving into the fast lane and overtook him, and then as soon as I overtook him, he starts flashing me like crazy, and then he drove right up my backside, flashing and keeping his high beams on. Now either he was just annoyed that I overtook him, or what was more likely was that he just wasn't happy that I had my my Denalis on. And then he started increasing his speed, so I had to absolutely obliterate the speedometer to lose him, because he was just coming so close and trying to tip me. So I just had to lose him for my own safety. And that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable, guys. Who in their right mind decides that they're going to try and ram a motorbike, a motorcyclist, a human being off the road because you got annoyed of a bright light behind you? Seriously? Are you that sad? But yeah, I had to put a bit of distance between them because he was clearly unstable, not in his right mind. And that was just one of two other people that were just bananas on the road, just swerving in at you, and just bananas. I hate motorway driving, I hate it. But anyway, we'll crack on. So as I said, we're going to head out towards Spiddal. This is a beautiful coast road. We'll get to the cost cutter shop, which I mentioned in my video, my planning video. That should kill off most of this traffic that's here in front of me. And then we start to head out into the really good stuff, out into Connemara, out by the 12 Bends. I can't even remember half of the stuff we're going to go see today, but it's epic. Now what I have done, the other thing that I did while I was at home over the few days is I rejigged my routes a little bit, because I found on the earlier section when we were in Kerry, I had they were just too long. So what was, like as I said, you know, ultimately this is a holiday for me. I like my bed, you know. I'm not one of these early risers and is out at the crack of dawn. The way I normally work it is I get up at about 8, half 8, I get down for breakfast for 9, finish breakfast by half 9, and that gives me 30 minutes to get the gear down to the bike, get into my biker gear and get going by 10. And then I like to get in somewhere around 6, and I don't mind getting in at 7 or even half 7. Anything beyond half 7 I start to get a little bit stressed, because it doesn't leave you a lot of time to, just because you've been riding all day, it's a tiring exercise. It doesn't give you time to just rest for an hour, get washed and showered, and then down for the restaurants, because a lot of these restaurants, they take last orders for dinner. Some of them take it at 9, but some of them take it at 8. So, you know, you could be under time pressure, and I just don't like being under pressure for time. And I was finding the last few days have been, you know, they're about a 9-hour, sorry, about a 9-hour travel. So if I leave at 10, that means that without stopping, I won't get to the destination until 7. But of course, I'm stopping for photographs, I'm stopping for a sandwich, I'm stopping to take drone shots. So that 7 very quickly goes to either 8 or 9. And then I'm cutting stuff out because I'm trying to get in before the 7, half 7 kind of target I've set for myself. And I don't want to be cutting stuff out, and I don't want to be rushing it, and I want to take my time. So I've stripped them back a little. I haven't taken anything out, I've just shortened them a bit and maybe added in a day or so to compensate, you know. So what I'm trying to do now is make the days about 6 to 7 hours long, and that means that even if I add in 2 hours for drones and sandwiches and camera shots and everything, I'm still pretty comfortable to get in for 7. And if I get in at 7, I'm happy. So that's 10 in the morning till 7 at night. So that's what I did. I spent a few hours on that last night, rejigging things. And what I'll do is, they're all in a folder. I'll tidy them all up and rename them and everything, and then I'll make them available once I'm happy enough with them here. You know, I mean, you might be the type that's up at 7 and gone by 10 past 7 and doesn't stop until the sun is set and blah blah blah. That's just not my bag. If that's what you do, knock yourself out. Tweak the routes to your heart's content. But for me, it's a holiday. And biking, you know, it's not a marathon session, you know. I think oh, did I just kill a bird? I think 7 to 8 hours a day in a motorbike is pretty good. So yeah, so I'll crack on. Let me think, was there anything else I got done? Oh, I got my hair cut as well. So plenty done and lots more to see. Let's crack on with it. We're coming into Spiddal here. So just coming into the town here, or the village, sorry, not the town. The village of Spiddal. And what I would suggest is that if you haven't already got fuel, now I've just fueled up, you're as well to get it here, because once we get past the cost cutter shop, you're kind of out into the kind of the wilds, you know. I mean, no, it's not the wilds, it's but buildings become far more sparse. Petrol stations are fewer and far between. If you're on a fully fueled GS, you're perfectly fine. But if you're on something small like a 125 or a 250 or something like that, you know, depending on the route. I don't think you'll ever really get into bother, but you're as well to fuel up. Just fill her up here, just save you a lot of hassle trying to find something if you get low. This is the perfect spot to do it, just before you go out into the really good stuff. But as I said, I've already fueled up, so I'm going to cut through Spiddal and I'm going to stop at the cost cutters and maybe have a sandwich. And as I said, it's probably a good spot. I think most people would come statistically from Dublin, Kildare region, particularly if you're flying in from a different country. You'd probably fly into Dublin and pick up your bike from either Lemon Rock or Celtic Motorcycles. So you'd be pretty much starting from the same place I did today. So it's about a 2 hour or so, depending on how quick you, 2 hours to get over towards, you know, Salthill. And you will burn fuel like it's no tomorrow on that motorway. I've gunned it across there, and it took about 3/4 of my tank. But on these type of roads, my tank would last me 2 days nearly. But yeah, I was fairly flying in fairness, thanks to your man. But yeah, so it gets, if I left at just about 10 o'clock, I'll get to the cost cutters, which as I said has a little spar shop, and you can get a sandwich there, there's a toilet, and then you're going to be out into the wilds a bit. So it's a good place to stop. So I'm going to get there just before about 25 past to 12:30. So it's a good point to stop for a sandwich before you head off into the back and beyond. So we're starting to see the landscapes change. This is why I like this road coming out, because it keeps you on the coast and tees you up nicely to start. So as you can see, I've got the coast over here. The Aran Islands are just over there. We just passed Air Aran. And then all these old rock walls, and the rock starts to show itself through the surface of the dirt in the ground. Not unlike the stuff in the Burren, but not as pronounced obviously. But it's just beautiful. Like some of these walls that they've built here, and some of these old cottages, see the way all the rock is just jutting up out of the thing. Some of these walls are hundreds if not thousands years old. But it looks like the weather's going to change. It said it was going to be clear. Met Éireann have not failed me and been wrong again, but that looks like a great big rain cloud ahead of me. So this building here, TG4, that's our Irish-speaking television station. It's the only Irish-speaking television station here in Ireland. TG Cahir. Cahir is the Irish for 4. I think it's nice that they put it out here into a Gaeltacht area, which is an area that speaks primarily Irish. Now here's the cost cutters. So literally I'm just going to pull in here, have a bit of a break, and then we're going to turn a corner, and then that's it, we're out into the stuff. Right, so that's the cost cutters, and I'm so glad that I did just the routes, because I was able to sit there and relax about having my sandwich and a drink without wondering and stressing about what I was going to do to the time I was going to get in at. So even there, sitting there for the last 15-20 minutes, I'm going to be in there before 6 o'clock. So even if I stop for a couple of drone shots, the latest I could possibly get in is, you know, 6:30, 7. It just makes the day so much less stressful. So as you can see now, we're going to head out. You can see immediately once we turn the bend after the cost cutters, the landscape changes. and it gets more and more wild as we go out. Now we're going to do a couple of loops. We're going to go out by Roundstone and Cashel and Clifton and the Sky Road, out to the entrance to Omey Island. What is a whole host of things that I have on for today, and we're only at the start of it now. Even though I've been on the road since 10, it's 1:45 now, so 10, 11, 12, well, nearly 3 hours. We're only at the start now, because I had to burn across the country to get back to my point where I left off. So I checked the rain radar for what it's worth. Even though it looks a bit dull, it doesn't look like it's going to rain. And even though it's not very bright or sunny, it's extremely warm. It's extremely warm. I am absolutely sweating in this gear. And as I said, I had to wash it all. Like, I do wonder, like, I was what, 6 or 7 days on the road non-stop. The first 2 or 3 days in total lashings of rain, so the suit has to take all of that, and there's nowhere really you can wash it. So by the time I get into Galway, I'd say this suit could have driven the bike by itself. And I can't remember if I told you this before, but I was going up and down from the car park to the room, bringing up my gear, and I was sweating. I was sweating after days of sweating into this, in the pissings of rain, driving 8, 9, 10 hours a day in the lashings of rain. This suit was buzzing, and I was on my way down from the 5th floor to get the rest of my gear, and the lift stopped on the 3rd floor, and technically nobody else is supposed to get into the lift with you if they're not from the same room because of COVID. Now I don't mind because I was vaccinated, but this young couple were there, didn't even ask, just stood in, no mask, and as they were going down, I could see them looking at each other and sniffing and going, oh my god, what is that smell? And I knew it was the suit. So we get down to the lobby, the doors open, and as they walk out, your woman turns to the boyfriend and she goes, is he fucking serious? Oh, it wet me so. And I thought to myself, well, that's karma, love, you weren't supposed to get in the lift. So yeah, so it's good to get home and get it all washed. So as you can see, we're only 5 minutes out from Costcutters, and it's just turned into this beautiful, beautiful wilderness. Pity the cloud is so low hanging. All the 12 Bend mountain range is over there. So come in off the main road a bit to take in a bit of the interior of the mountain here. I've never been on this road actually. Took a little turn off for it, but nice spot, but Jesus. You can see the clouds are coming in dark and ominous. I'd be amazed if I get away without some rain. Although I have to say, Connemara is the one of the few places in the world I don't mind when it rains, because I'm sure I've said this before, it suits it, you know. It's a place that should be seen in the rain. You're driving slowly anyway because the roads are narrow and not great, but it's almost like you're witnessing how the landscape was formed in real time when you see it in really bad weather. And it just makes it look really epic. Not that it's not already epic. I mean, look at that. That's pretty savage. See, actually I'm delighted now I cut down the day's driving, because it gives me time to stop and have a look at these type of places. Look at this now. And the other thing is, you can't see it from here, but see all these little locks and quarries and lakes. Every corner I turn, there's a new little ocean lock with all this rocky outcroppings in them, and they're absolutely stunning. Oh, that's definitely rain. I mean, as much as this is beautiful in the rain, I just don't want it to rain for a day or two, because that's what happened the last time. The first 2 days my suit got totally soaked, and so for the whole trip it's hard to get it dry then, you know. But this is a nice little road. And I found recently as well, as you know, I use my route app to plot all my routes. And I only recently discovered that there's I've always been able to download the route straight from my route to my TomTom. It's so simple to get the route. You literally just save it to your TomTom, that's it. But I've also just recently discovered that there's a TomTom mode in the My Route app that basically emulates your TomTom. So it's using the TomTom maps, the TomTom avoidances, everything. So the timings and the route come out far more accurate for you when you put it onto your TomTom. So sometimes if you do it in the standard default map, it may take you down roads that the TomTom struggles with, because it may have deemed it as a track or something in its own maps. But if you set the default mode in My Route app to TomTom, it emulates your TomTom perfectly. Look at this, what a view. And then you don't have any issues with it when you're on the road. And the beauty of the TomTom is that even though it's a track, the problem I was having with the Garmin that was making me go bananas was that if you deviated from the track at all, what the Garmin would do is it would just go, no, you're off track, and it would cancel the track and then just plot a direct route to your destination, which is no good. So you kept having to stop and restart the track. Now sometimes the TomTom will do that if you haven't generated your route in the correct format in My Route app. But now that I've started using this TomTom emulator in the My Route app, it doesn't. I can veer off for 100 miles and it'll bring me back into the nearest point on my original track once I decide to go back to the track. So it means I can totally go off and explore off the track that I've already plotted without losing the track, and it's fantastic. This is stunning, absolutely stunning. Now see what I mean about it being just wild out here? I mean, look, it's just a wild piece of land, and there's hardly anything. There's hardly a house to be seen. No town centres, no nothing. Now, well, everything is relative. I mean, it's hardly like the wilds of Patagonia or something like that, but for Ireland it's a large space with very little in it. But all the turf bogs I've mentioned before, they're pretty much defunct now in Ireland, so these will all go. I wasn't sure when the sat-nav took me off this road where the hell it was bringing me, but my god, I'm delighted I kept going. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love the Irish countryside. I just love it. It's just stunning. The only problem with the Irish countryside is that Ireland is such a small country. It's such a small country. I'd love if Ireland was 10 times bigger, to give me 10 times of a place to go and explore. But it packs a punch. Why did you go that way? Bleed hell! You could have just gone that way! See? That's what I keep saying about sheep. Thick as shit. They can do anything. What a section! What a section! That's why I don't. I've said it before. You can slag me off all you want for planning so much on my route app or Google Earth or whatever, but fucking trust me, it pays off. I'd have driven past the turn off for this, not knowing what the hell was in here. But just a few minutes of just poking around. What a landscape. I think we're about to meet up with the main road again. There we go. That was class. I enjoyed that. And look, it brings us right to Cashel. We're 2 kilometres outside Cashel now. And there's a fantastic coast road that runs from Cashel to Roundstone. So we'll get up and we'll have a look at that. But that was a great bit of road. Great bit of road. Connemara, lads, I'm telling you. And it's funny, I keep saying it, like I came to Connemara for a long time, but then when I started doing a bit more of Ring of Kerry, I'd start to favour that over it. But Connemara is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I'll take this one now. If I could go straight, but I want to go left because that'll keep me closer to the coast. See, Ballyconneely, Roundstone. Cashel's only 1 kilometre away, and then we'll head out to Roundstone. Roundstone is a beautiful little fishing village, absolutely stunning. If you ever watched the TV show where Martin Clunes in it called Doc Martin, that's filmed over in Pembrokeshire or somewhere like that, somewhere on the Welsh coastline there, I think. But Roundstone, I think, looks nearly identical to the town that was set in. We're just coming into Cashel. See what I mean about these rocky locks? And it's got all this spiky grass type of stuff, kind of like what we saw down in Kerry. And then if you see the sat-nav, all you can see is just twists and turns all the way along the coastline, because it's following the coastline itself. See the big white line there, mate? That's what I mean about having these Denali's. They're brilliant on little roads like this, when you're nothing but blind corner after blind corner. If you meet something coming around, those lights will bring you to their attention very quickly and get them to move back into their lane.